Welcome everyone to Catholic Sunday Scriptures in Context. This is a ministry of the Augustinian Order in St. Paul Parish. Today we are focusing on the 11th Sunday in Ordinary Time. Our first reading comes from the book of the prophet Ezekiel, which was written during the exile, which is 597 to 537. And this piece here was written as a song. So the one thing that we don't see in this scripture passage is that the two oracles before it were about how the king of Judah, Hezekiah, had failed. He had taken a branch from the top of the cedar and tried to plant it, and his plans went awry. He tried to make treaties that failed, and Nebuchadnezzar came along and destroyed the kingdom of Judah and took the people prisoners. But God will take a branch from the top of the cedar and replant it, and the people will return to Jerusalem, because what God desires to do, it will happen. So here you see, I, the Lord, bring low the high tree and lift high the lowly tree. As I, the Lord, have spoken, so will I do. So in that second line, you see it there, I too will take from the crest of the cedar. And that refers to the two previous oracles that talk about the failures of King Hezekiah. Our second reading is from Paul's second letter to the Corinthians. And so Paul wrote, we believe, 4 letters to the Corinthians, and they're mixed in these 2 letters. They're distinct parts there. And because the church in Corinth had many problems, it was a town filled with sailors and a large population, and problems with pagan rituals and prostitution and so forth. And so he addresses these problems in the various letters that he writes. And in this section, right before this, he contrasts light and darkness, death and life, the outer and inner nature. And so here the contrast is between the temporary dwelling, tent, and Paul was a tent maker, probably made out of goats' skins, and then the permanent dwelling in heaven. And he said the way that we get there is to walk by faith and not by sight. To believe, don't look at the things of this world, but look at the things of the next world. And there's that great song that I love, and hopefully you'll hear it at your liturgy. We walk by faith and not by sight. Anyway, these are the 2 significant passages that he refers to. And lastly, our gospel is from Mark. And so at this point in the gospel, Jesus is in a boat on the Sea of Galilee preaching to the people. He told the story about the sower who put seed on the good ground and among the weeds and the rocky soil and so forth. And then he talked about 2 other parables. I believe one about the lamp and I forget what the other one is. And now he returns to the gardening parables. These 2 sowing parables talk about different aspects of the kingdom. And the first is, as it grows, we are unaware of it. The process is impenetrably mysterious, yet it is also every day. And that eventually we reap the benefits of what has been sown. And the second image sort of tells us that the kingdom is a place where people gather and find rest, much like the mustard plant. The birds of the air come and rest there. The insignificant can become powerful and sheltering. So these are all to help us understand what the kingdom of heaven is like. The person who sowed the seed knows not how it grows, it just does. And then the birds in the sky are talking about the mustard tree, so the birds of the sky can dwell in its shade. Please pray for peace, and if you think this could be helpful to someone, please pass it on. Thank you very much.